Good evening, and welcome to College Press Box. I'm your host, Ethan Ferguson, and she's Kylie Rodriguez. We've got a great show for you today.
Saturday's game is our men's basketball analyst, Carter Yates. Carter, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to College Press Box. This weekend, we saw Texas volleyball dominate Oklahoma 3-0. To give us more insight into Texas volleyball going into the spring season, here's Cecilia Rodriguez.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me. It's March, and that means madness, but it's not only limited to basketball this time around, as Texas Longhorns volleyball is gearing up for another run at a national title.
On the 1-0 Sports Show, where we recap Week 0 college football, we look forward to the big games ahead this weekend, and Jordan Mitchell joins us to break down Texas football. All this and more coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Cincinnati Bengals, they started the season aiming for the number 2 pick. They didn't need Trevor Lawrence because they just drafted the defending Heisman winner, Joe Burrow, at that time. However, their offensive line was in shambles. If you have paid any attention to the Bengals offseason social media, you saw Joe Burrow's sitting in the king chair, but the thing that everybody noticed was the giant scar running down his leg where he tore his ACL. So because of that reason, I think the Bengals are going to go with Penei Sewell over, say, Jamar Chase.
And on third, we have a newcomer, Adam Ogburn. Adam,
Excited.
how you feel on your first show?
Hey, I'm hyped. Just like it's UTOU week, you can't not be hyped, so you gotta be excited.
Absolutely. All right.
Look, I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about Ivy League football, because I don't. But I'm going to go with Yale anyway, just because I like Connecticut better than I like Boston, Massachusetts.
Dude.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. I could go. I think that Yale, they're a pretty well put together team. You know, good on offense, good on defense. I think I got Yale. Yeah.
Excellent. If you can we cut to it wide? If you can do it right now, I'll give you the points.
If I can do the worm right now?
If you can do the worm and then the leg thing.
All right. How are we gonna see, how's the camera gonna see this?
Hey, you gotta go up front. There we go.
This is a lot of pressure.
Wow. Excellent work. Let's get a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't top that. Until this week, we're going to go back to the Pac-12. The best feat of athleticism I saw in the Pac-12 all week.
Yes!
We've got a Fox on the field, but it gets better. So the Fox is hanging out. It's still hanging out for a little bit, and then I think they start coming after it, and it takes off, man. This Fox is not going to be caught right. There it goes. Look at this. It goes up in the stands. That Fox is gone.
It's got hot.
I mean, imagine that Fox running the ball, man. He's outrunning any defender, I think. So, really good Animal Central show and tell. I mean, who's getting this one?
If you're comparing it to a sandcastle, the Lakers had one of the greatest sandcastles you could ever have on the beach. And also, the Lakers were also the waves that took over and completely wiped out that beautiful sandcastle.
Despite losing last week's bout against the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Texas Longhorns were able to bounce back efficiently this week against UTSA, winning tonight's game 41-20. Despite being tied 17-17 at half, the Texas Longhorns came out in the second with a new type of ferocity.
All right, I would just do the classic. I mean, I know it's an easy move for taunting, but it's a classic in sports history, the Iverson step over. You know, anytime when Allen Iverson hit that shot, I don't even remember who it was. Do you remember? Tyronn Lue. There you go. I knew it was someone from back then. Anyway, when Iverson hit that and he stepped over him, that's the biggest sign of disrespect I've ever seen, and I loved it. And I don't know why the NFL is trying to get rid of taunting, because disrespect is cool. It makes the game fun, and stepping over an opponent, showing your dominance over them, that makes it cool.
It's the little thing.
Welcome in to the 1-0 Sports locker room. Last time in the locker room in 2019, and now joining us, Adam Ogburn. And let's talk conference championships. We're gonna go and we're gonna start. We're gonna break them down and give some predictions, and then we'll go and give some college football playoff scenarios. Let's start with the Pac-12. We got Utah. We got Oregon. Utah, potentially a win away from a college football playoff, but Oregon trying to play spoiler. What are y'all seeing in this matchup?
Well, Justin Herbert, he's going to have to lead the way for Oregon. They're coming off that frustrating loss to Arizona State, which obviously dropped them out of playoff contention. So they've got a trio of running backs, really talented. So we'll see. Utah, though, has been dominating opponents in the Pac-12. You got Tyler Huntley making plays. So it should be a really good matchup. Friday night tonight, so it's coming up tonight.
That's right. That is tonight. I forgot, man. Happy birthday to us.
Awesome. I know what I'm doing tonight.
I'm calling it now. They're winning the national championship this year. If you look at the Texas roster, like he said, they didn't really lose too many starters, this team, except for graduate transfer libero Morgan O'Brien. She played a really big role in last year's team. So that would be the only one that comes to mind. But the heartbreak on their faces last year said it all. They were coming to avenge that loss, and they're going to do it. So
this team kind of feels like it's kind of depressed and a little uninspired. The first half, Longhorns can beat any team in the country. We've seen that with performances against Oklahoma, even Baylor last week, and Oklahoma State. But in the second half, they just kind of seem to get complacent with a large lead, and so they're just kind of letting these small cracks form in the offense and the defense, and it's showing up in the final
Circuit of the Americas, and all began earlier this afternoon with a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. In that race, Zane Smith took advantage of a timely caution before literally burning it down.
I'm gonna talk to my family later on, but if I'm gonna go with someone I don't talk to every day. I want Matthew McConaughey on the line to talk to me, because I want him to get my head right. I want him, and I want McGregor behind him. Because I want two different auras. I want McConaughey, like wholesome. His quote is, be less impressed and be more involved. After a big dub, I don't want to just sit on it. I want to keep going. I want to cement my legacy as the greatest ever. I want him to get in my head like, hey, you won this, but you're going to win more. Keep at it. And then McGregor, double champ, I do what I want. So there you go.
You heard it here first from Hunter. Book your plane tickets to Omaha today.
Second base, she also helps out a lot behind the scenes and talks volleyball from time to time for us on College Press Box. Unfortunately, joining us today without her brother Eric and dog Colt, it's the great Cecilia Rodriguez. How's it going, Cece?
Well, that's an intro. I'm doing great, actually. I'm dressed up as the best quarterback in 2019. Mr. Joe Burrow himself, who won a ring, I will say. Sadly, not last year, but whatever. I'm doing great, and I'm excited to be here.
Carter, your answers are always consistent in their merit, and we're on to you next.
No pressure.
He's blushing, ladies and gentlemen. He's blushing.
I had it all prepared, and you just threw it.
I'm sick. Forget the candy. I'm sick of the people who give out apples and stuff on Halloween, man. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's Halloween. Give the kids the candy, man. You can fight health and stuff 364 days of the year, but on Halloween, just get the candies. Leave out the apple. Leave out the corn, too. Forget candy corn. Forget anything that has any semblance of being healthy. It's the kids one night. Give it to them.
Now, before we end our men's basketball segment, our very own Cecilia Rodriguez was lucky enough to sit down with a pair of the biggest Longhorn basketball fans. We will play for you Cecilia's interview with the Hawaiian shirt guy and the extremely loud guy, two student fans who the student body certainly won't forget, even with the season and the Irwin Center being over.
It's a packed house in the Frank Irwin Center. As the ball tips off, the spotlight turns to two superfans who found their way to reserved front row seating and into closed team practices. Jonathan Stewart and Maman Ahmed, better known as Hawaiian shirt guy and incredibly loud guy.
You know, Sunday is traditionally the Lord's Day, and Kanye West, he's a bit of a Christian man. If you're familiar with Donda, if you're familiar with Jesus is King, if you're familiar with even the college dropout, going back to his gospel days, you know, Kanye West, he can deliver a really, grandiose, operatic, choir type Sunday night football.
So we have our friend Cece here. Cece, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back on for the first time in a few weeks.
Let's go.
It's an open Friday for me, so I'm happy to talk sports whenever.
She's not camped out at Harry Styles this
week.
She's making a living down at the Moody Center that week.
I'm Jordan Geelhoed. He's Adam Ogburn.
And for everyone else at TSTV, I'm Carter Yates.
For the final time on College Press Box, I'm Cecilia Rodriguez.
I'm Adam Ogburn.
I'm Jordan Geelhoed.
I'm Carter Yates.
And I'm Ethan Ferguson.
Thank you for joining us and have a good night.